Everyone thinks the AI race is about smarter models. They're wrong. The real race ended before most people even noticed. And today, almost every AI company is building on top of the same invisible infrastructure. We are not looking at a technological arms race. We are looking at a consolidation of gravity. And in this episode, we trace the path, from the hype, to the hardware, to the monopoly that controls it all. Welcome to Alpha, where we decode the future before it happens. Today, we're peeling back the layers of the AI stack, because what you see at the top is not what holds the weight. Let's start with the illusion. For the past 18 months, you've been told there is a fierce war. OpenAI releases a model. Google responds. Anthropic adjusts its strategy. XAI enters the arena. It feels dynamic, it feels competitive. But look closer at the engines. Every major model today uses the same transformer architecture, trained on largely the same web data, fine-tuned with the same reinforcement learning techniques. The datasets overlap by 60%. The evaluation metrics are identical. The talent pools are the same. What looks like competition is actually consolidation under different branding layers. Think about it. 2 years ago, you could build a strong model on a few GPUs. Today, training a frontier model like GPT-4 costs an estimated $10 billion in compute alone. GPT-5 is projected at $30 billion. These are not startup budgets, they are national budget scale investments. So who are you actually choosing between? Not intelligence, but access. Access to data, access to compute, and access to the pipe that delivers it. To understand where the power lies, let's follow a single piece of intelligence. Imagine a startup in San Francisco. They have an idea. They need an AI assistant for their product. Step 1. They write code. They don't build a model from scratch. They call an API. That request travels out of their server into the cloud to a massive data center in Virginia or Oregon. Step 2. The inference happens. But wait. Who owns those GPUs? NVIDIA. Who owns the electricity cooling them? Local utility grids, contracted years in advance. Who owns the storage where the data sits? Cloud providers, AWS, Azure, GCP. And here is the trap. The startup thinks they are buying AI, but they are actually buying dependency. Once their workflow is built on that API, switching costs skyrocket, not just technically, organizationally. Your data lives there. Your fine-tuning lives there. Your user experience is coded around that specific latency. You aren't choosing a model, you are locking yourself into a platform. And at the bottom of that platform is a single point of failure. This is Act 3, the heart of the system. Most people think AI is software. It's not. At scale, intelligence is physics. Intelligence is constrained by physical infrastructure, by GPU availability, by energy consumption, by supply chain bottlenecks. And in this domain, one company has become structurally unavoidable. NVIDIA. Not because it builds intelligence, but because it controls the execution layer of intelligence itself, the silicon, the parallel compute fabric, the physical substrate on which every model must run. NVIDIA's dominance is no longer a competitive advantage, it is a structural dependency. Unlike software, where code can be copied infinitely, compute consolidates. Every additional layer of performance requires more capital, more integration, more dependency. Look at the math. To train the models you use today, companies spent over $12 billion on NVIDIA hardware in 2024 alone. That is a 60% year-over-year increase. And it's not just chips, it's the memory bandwidth, it's the interconnects. The cables that talk between the chips are as important as the chips themselves. This is not a market dynamic, it is a monopoly of necessity. You don't choose NVIDIA, you need it to exist. Now, you might say, but wait, what about open source? Models like Meta's Llama or Mistral are free. They are breaking the barriers, right? Open source breaks the model monopoly, but it doesn't break the infrastructure monopoly. To run Llama 70B locally, you need enterprise-grade GPUs. Or you pay a cloud provider to run it for you. So who does the cloud provider use? NVIDIA. So who builds the NVIDIA chips? TSMC. Open source diversifies the top layer, but it forces everyone to compete for the same scarce resource at the bottom. It's like saying because anyone can build a house, the price of lumber doesn't matter. But when everyone builds a house at the same time, lumber prices spike. The monopoly isn't in the blueprint, it's in the raw material. And here's the final shift. We are entering a phase where intelligence is no longer something you install. It is something you are surrounded by. Embedded in search, embedded in documents, embedded in code, embedded in communication. When every interface produces similar outputs, when every assistant routes through the same infrastructure, competition becomes irrelevant at the user level. Because selection disappears, you are not choosing between AIs, you are choosing between products that happen to contain AI, and the AI underneath is the same. At that point, the monopoly is no longer visible in pricing. It is visible in defaults, in what you are automatically given, in what you no longer question, like electricity, like water, like gravity. There is a misconception that we are building artificial intelligence, but that is not what is happening. What is actually being built is a new dependency structure for the entire digital world, one layer at a time, one abstraction at a time, until every system routes through the same underlying intelligence layer. We thought we were building smarter machines, but we were actually rebuilding the internet, and this time the control layer is invisible. If you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe to Alpha, because the future isn't something that happens, it's something you can see coming. I'll see you in the next one.